Hi guys, so this is the Chakrahan segment of divination using the divination cards, the Journey of Love, and then also these angel tarot cards that I have. So what I did was basically spread the cards out, meditated, and wrote down what the messages are. So the overarching message from this is you've arrived. So stay in the practice. Stay in the practice. Now, every single skill that you have is about staying within the practice and being tethered to that now because you've arrived in this place, you've embodied a certain aspect, but now you have to keep practicing it so it becomes more and more you, right? In the 3D, because spiritually, all of this work has you've been doing or are doing, right? So the first card is the Ten of Water. What I got there is there's an opportunity of new beginnings with the way you have or are going to see the world. So this tells me that there's a lot of subconscious mind reprogramming and nervous system resetting, right? So the yoga nidras, the meditations, I'll always advocate for that. And what I got from this card too is that you're able to hold tension between the two worlds, yet it goes back into you've arrived. You don't need to fix anything anymore. It's time for you to stay tethered to that which you know and keep practicing it. Become that version of you that you've always wanted to be, and you've seen yourself in this time space reality now. So you hold beautiful tension between the yin and the yang and the fear and the joy. Now it's becoming more precise with the alchemy. When you identify something immediately, you know that it's of low vibration or high vibration, where it's coming from, and what to do with that. Okay. Then the second card that I got was a magician, the number 1. So life is about to become way more magical for you. Your focus needs to be sorry. Your focus needs to be on what is within your immediate point of focus and what you have with gratitude. And it came because we've been experiencing some fog here these couple of days, quite a lot of fog. And it was so beautiful walking out the other day, where what I love about fog is that all you need to see is within your immediate surroundings. Like you can't really see further than what you need to see from a certain particular distance. So it almost feels like if you are going through, it's almost like that smell of like old books. You might be someone who likes like reading. I don't know why I'm getting that with like gratitude. Maybe there's a book you need to read, like an old book. Maybe there's a certain old practice that you need. What I'm getting now is like grandmother energy, and it's just like old and dusty. Or what I'm probably also getting is probably like you need to like clear the dust in your house. I don't know, because I just cleared this apartment. I don't know what's going on. So I'm getting like dust and like clearing. And what I'm also getting is like a sense of like maintenance. Like, we get dust every single day, even if you've closed most of the doors or you've closed most of the windows, dust is always going to come because it's energy. And energy is, you're always going to have energy that was unintended. It's almost like an unintended consequence of part of your experience is your cleansing, right? So something um, old wisdom, maybe you carry a lot of like grandmother or grandfather energy. You're quite mature, perhaps. And what I'm getting now is what you feel you don't have or want is an indicator of what you do want, right? So life always moves in the negative. This is like the matrix in the physical realm. it is always going to move with the as above, so below, right? So when we tap into the spirit world, we are tapping into higher vibrations of joy and peace, which is the highest vibration of love. And then we go into the lowest vibration of love, which is fear. So, nature, when you know what you don't want, it's in your fear base, it becomes a problem. But your solution is always in the problem. Okay. Okay, so we get the Queen of Water. You have mastered within yourself, or there's something that you've mastered within yourself, and I'm getting it is a lot to do with the heart. You have mastered acceptance and trust within yourself. So I'm getting like congratulations, but once again, it goes back to you've arrived, stay in practice. And what I'm getting there, it almost feels like in this point of arrival to get to this space of self mastery, or a deeper part of self mastery within yourself. It's almost like you've been running. And what I'm getting now is you've trained yourself to run because you knew you had to get out of this matrix. But like again, I've said, you've arrived. Stay in the practice of arriving in the place that you've wanted. It's almost like this feeling when you know where you're gonna go next, or you've planned a date and you know it's in your calendar and it's set and you feel safe, or that feeling of reaching your destination and unpacking your bags, and that joy that you generally feel. It's picking up a lot with that energy. So you've mastered acceptance and trust spiritually. Now the attention needs to be focused from there or here through there. So it's almost part of this aspect of be not of the world, but be part of it. Okay? Because if we're talking out of matrix, we're speaking spirit world, you're staying tethered to that vibration, but here. So you're learning how to alchemize that. That's self mastery, it's alchemy. So you've embodied that. But again, it goes back to you've arrived, stay in the practice. You no longer have to run. You've arrived at a certain destination that you've wanted to. Now unpack your bags and rest. Go to the beach, go to the restaurant and have food. Go out into the nature and enjoy where you are in that destination. Make the most of it. So what I got there is you might want to start diving deeper into fasting practices and meditative practices. Now, fasting practices don't only have to be about food. Fasting is a lot to do with learning how to control yourself. And as you learn how to build up your self control, then the stuff of the world doesn't become as important. So it's a form of discipline as well. So it doesn't only have to take place in the form of food. When I get with clients, when I'm like, a suggestion would be to fast. Your gut perhaps might need some cleansing. There's almost like this like fear of like, "Ugh, I'm not gonna enjoy like the food that I want." Your fasting could be your phone usage. Your fasting could be your water intake. Your fasting could be more nature walks. So it's just choosing a point of focus for a certain amount of days and going, what do I learn through this particular thing? And what am I seeing differently every single day? What I'm getting, maybe some of you have also even practiced Ashtanga yoga. Ashtanga yoga, the primary series to tertiary series, has a set practice, which is every day it's the same thing. But even in that repetition, because it's like showering, it's never the same. So it's that exact same practice of showing up with the same moves. Your mind gets used to the a certain routine which builds a certain sense of safety, which allows a sense of freedom within yourself. So ultimately, that's what fasting and meditation does. It's to give you certainty and safety, to build that space within yourself of deeper trust, and to welcome in more freedom of abundance so that you are more aware of what are my limitations in this moment? Because a lot of abundance and manifestation is just about removing your limitations, because abundance is always there. It's your limitations that exist in that present moment. And what I'm getting now, I also use this analogy with clients is to just say, right now, when you're overthinking, it's almost like if you think of a four-way traffic stop. You're at a four-way traffic stop, and I don't know if you've noticed when when traffic lights don't work and it's at a busy intersection, that if there are traffic officers who are now navigating traffic and directing traffic, you usually find that it takes longer for traffic than it would with the traffic lights actually working. Why? Because on one end, now the traffic officer is having to navigate between, if it's only him or her, navigate between their colleagues and to make the decisions of a certain bias that they have of who's stood there longer, who do they feel. When your emotions are so kept in and you've got old emotions, it can block traffic. It can take longer because now you're not in full alignment. So that's what overthinking does. Okay. And what I got there too, this is a lot to do with like the matrix. So the matrix basically is a system of low vibrational energy. That's mainly what it is. If you had to like dumb it down to the most easiest and simple way to explain it, it's fear vibration. It's the lowest form of love. And it's an important form of love because in order to know who you are, you need to know who you're not. And the easiest way to know who you are is by who you're not. Now, what happens is when you get stuck through the fear-based conditioning in the mind, if you are so tethered to be in the world and of the world versus part of the world, then you are so looped into the conditioning, and the conditioning is confusion because it eliminates the decision making, it eliminates the sense of clarity within yourself. And because these conditions have a God outside of you, they don't empower you to, did I say religion? Yeah, these religions have this God outside of you as if God is up there. So everything is about creating outside versus from inside, right? Instead of understanding the God within you that co-creates with the universe. Okay, so then we have nine of thought. So what I got there with that card is that there is a certain completion or of hesitation over a certain decision you have been mulling over for some time. Now we go back to the matrix and we say that in the matrix, what gets us so stuck is, and in the overthinking space, is us wanting to know the how. Now, if you look at your life 10 years ago, you couldn't have even planned this to the T. There is no way you could have planned this to the T unless you're really like super magician and you've understood how to um alchemize. And I get there's a certain point in your life when you have a practice and you've understood meditation and you just run with it. I can understand that there's certain outcomes that are guaranteed, but then there's always that monopoly where you don't necessarily know. You think you know, but we can't create new from old. It has to be a new way of thinking. Okay. So going back to the matrix, with the matrix, really what you need to, when you tap out of the matrix now and you go into the heart medicine, what you're really doing is creating from why. So it's more of a purpose driven life versus a life of confused purposes that are socialized and suggested that you have. Your fear based conditioning from your household that you grew up in, however, whatever form of guardianship you had, your external environment, your schools, your sporting, your friends that you are also suggesting certain things of how you are coming into being. Now, what I'm getting there too is it's almost like this life is about brainwashing yourself. It's either you brainwash yourself basically, or you allow the world to brainwash you. So either or, you're going to have to recalibrate. You're going to have to recalibrate the mind. This is like a computer game in some way or form. So living through your decision, going back to that fog. And when you're finding yourself confused, that means that all you need is with you here, now. So don't look, I mean, you can look at the beauty outside, but look at your immediate and what you have, because what you would find is you really have a lot. Your limitations are that you don't have it in your physical experience. That's it. Because we want that tangible or that visceral experience. But it comes and it starts from here, like having hidden heart coherency. So what I got there is bring a lot of kindness and patience with yourself. Like just invite a lot of kindness and patience with yourself today. And just go, you know what? I'm learning, I'm crawling. This is new. I don't know. And just like how if you see a baby learning how to walk and you get excited, it's almost like spirit is guiding you to bring that excitement back into your life, to go, oh, this is new. I'm learning a new way. I'm here. And of course I'm going to tap into old ways, because that's like the wisdom that's also vital. But how do you use the wisdom to tap into this new way of being, so that you are more free? Okay. Then we have 5, where it said out with the old and in with the new. So it's that constant theme too. You've arrived, stay in the practice. So it's out with the old, in with the new. Arrive, stay in the practice, see things as if you've never seen them before. That's also a practice. You are about to experience heaven on earth in deeper ways than you have ever before. So that's part of that magic. Align everything, align your mind, align your heart, and align your actions to that of the highest frequency. And that simply comes with the practice. So the more you practice, the better you get at things, right? It's like if you had to cook a pasta. I don't know, maybe I'm craving some pasta. I had some pizza earlier. I was craving for some pasta. So it's like that feeling of when you learn how to make a certain pasta and you know how easy and simple it is, it becomes better and better over time, because then you know what not to add, how to make it a little bit better, and you enjoy it more the more easier it becomes for you. So that goes back into the fasting. Take one thing that you feel has controlled you, and take back control by fasting over it and just learning something about it every single day, and see what the new that is going to come from that brings you. And then the last card was choose freedom. So choose yourself. Now is the time to choose yourself. Release your savior complex, as well as thinking of how it's all going to work out. So back to that matrix. Release the how, focus on purpose driven living, focus on the why, and stop trying to save people. I always say to clients too, it's this analogy around a parent on a plane. Usually the flight attendant will ask the parent to please put on your mask first before you're going to help your baby, because ultimately, if you don't have enough oxygen and you don't have a strong oxygen source, and you're just relying on a certain part of you that's going to panic, if you don't feel safe, then already you bringing that energy in. And if you only sitting on this much when there's so much more energy available, this is going to be depleted. And ultimately what you're saying is, I don't want to say like die, but like, you're depleting that other person. You're saying, I want to help you, but with this depleted energy. And with this versus this, or even past this that you can have, you are giving them this much. So ultimately, you're not saving them. You get that? So save yourself. And then purpose driven, why? Keep things focused on why versus how it's going to work out, because it's always going to work out. It's a matter of time and alignment. That is what manifestation is. It's about matter of time and alignment, and removing your limitations, your belief systems that have stuck you into old. And then what I got is, so the numbers we were working with is 10, which goes into 1976. And then what I got is someone might be born in 1976, or there's a 1976, something happened in that year for some of you. Maybe look at that. And then when you look at the numerology, also that number adds into 5. And number 5 is the energy of major change and transformation taking place. So stay present and stay tethered to this. The last card, which was falling, I'm just going to read that last part of the oracle message within it. It says, this oracle contains a message for you. You are being called closer into divine union and into the fulfillment of your destiny. It is safe for you to trust what is happening. Go with it. It might seem like you're being asked to take a leap of faith. It's the right timing for that. It's your time to give yourself in love without holding back anything of yourself anymore. So now is basically the time for you to, you've arrived. You don't need to run. Stay in the practice. Choose one thing to do every single day and master that art. And you keep building and you build and you build up until you found this routine, and things will naturally, like, it's almost like you're sifting like flour. You'll sift out the softer parts, and what is a little bit too crummy and hard will stay behind, and that will no longer be in use for this flour, this new thing that you need to bake. Okay, so if you'd like a personal reading, please do DM me.